Good morning, everybody. I am Mike Officer. I'm your host for Learning Lending Live and the founder of Score Experts Credit Consulting. Again, I am the founder of Score Experts Credit Consulting. We are raising the standard of professionalism in the credit repair space. This is incredibly important in the real estate industry. Everybody needs to increase their buying power just to get approved in general and to get approved at better interest rates. That's where we come in. We help fix people's credit and strengthen their credit profile to align with what lenders want to approve.
Mike, thank you so much for launching LEARNin Lending Live. Happy Wednesday.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, the quick story of me and credit repair. When I was doing this credit repair like 10 years ago, I was dealing with a company, and I was living in Boston at the time, and I was dealing with a company in Texas, and it was like literally a hope and a prayer. It's a breath of fresh air to meet you locally in San Diego. Now work with you to really just promote you. I mean, you're the beginning. You might as well the beginning. You're like literally the core of anyone getting a loan. In this case, maybe most people get a loan to get real estate, whether it's an investment property or a property that they'll live in. But you're literally the one, man. You're literally the one. So thank you for being here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, ideally, people have strong credit scores already, but a lot of people don't. And we get to be a really significant factor in their financial journey. So I'm grateful for that.
Cool. Well, hey, I just wanted to pop in really quick to introduce what Lifeline AI is doing and what we're creating here for people, educators like yourself. We're really just utilizing and creating a platform to combine educators, investors like myself, and engineers in the background to create a platform to help educate, inspire, empower local community business owners and real estate professionals to connect, collaborate, and create together by doing what we call live community networking. And Mike, I've always wanted to do this lending show because I think it's super important. Just like people they learn about where they're going to invest, people need to really make sure they have the financial means to get going. So to start the show, going to let you really delve into something that's really relevant and what's going on in lending. So let's just transition to the news.
So yeah, the news article we're touching on today, a recent post about how national mortgage lending has dropped to a 12-year low. This is a really significant number nationwide. However, we live in San Diego. San Diego is a unique market and there's significant differences. So we're going to touch on a little bit of that today.
I think what I would say about that, Mike, in terms of the 12-year low, I don't think it's surprising necessarily because of what's going on geopolitically. Interest rates are high. It's still something that we want to report. It's not. We're not about just pumping people up and giving putting a show on with rose-colored glasses, right? But it's still important for people to know what's going on. I think this is a piece of news that you're going to be able to also talk about with Rafael as he kind of talks about private lending today. So excited to learn a lot more from you guys. Really quick, what I wanted to mention before and I failed to mention earlier is that we're actually building this lending show currently. And it's going to continue. It's going to actually grow. But we're looking for other finance experts to join in the conversation that we're creating about lending. So if you're one of the experts that we listed here above, commercial, title, escrow, real estate attorney, financial planner, tax planner, we want to have and share these conversations with you. So Mike. Appreciate you being here. I'm gonna let let you get back to hosting the show.
Yep. And that's what I wanted to mention is that San Diego is a unique market. And today we're blessed to have Rafael Davis here. He's a local San Diego lender in the mortgage industry. And we want to hear his direct insight into what's going on today in San Diego's market. Rafael, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Rafael Davis, aka the Black Belt Mortgage Pro. Just to touch on the article a little bit, it's at a 12-year low, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, we have elevated home prices, right? So if you have elevated home prices and then you have the mortgage rates that are sitting at 6% or staying above 6%, then you're going to have this slowdown in loans being funded. So that's what's causing this, right? It's elevated prices along with the rate itself just kind of sitting high. So that's going to be an issue. The thing about being here in San Diego or Southern California, for that matter, is San Diego is a different market. California itself is a different market. And no matter what's happening, even with the article, even though it's down, that's nationally, it's always a good time to purchase when you're in Southern California, especially San Diego, because you can rest assured, which we'll get into a little later, even when it comes to what we're talking about today, it's going to always appreciate. The price is going to go up. It doesn't matter. So 12 years ago, if you bought a property for $300,000 in San Diego, that property today is worth about $850,000. That's what the Southern California market does for you. Okay.
So Rafael, tell me, I know the article mentions a lot of focus on residential sales, and we're talking typical home buyers, first-time home buyers. How does that relate to investors?
So investors, typically they fall under something different. Investors are not looking to really be first-time home buyers, right? So what an investor will do, an investor will find a property and try to fix it up. And then hopefully they can occupy that or sell it to a first-time home buyer. So it's a little different, right? So the article is touching more on, I would call it conventional overall, but I'm more in the private space. So I work with investors exclusively. So I don't want to delve too far into the article because I didn't remember a lot of the numbers. What I do know overall that it's down 12%, and I know the reason for that, and that's because of the elevated prices of homes, period, across the country, along with the rates themselves, just kind of sitting high.
Gotcha. And, coming from this, from a credit repair standpoint, a credit consulting standpoint, we typically deal with both investors and first-time home buyers who are looking to strengthen their buying power. A lot of times, if people are using a loan for this type of purchase, they need to strengthen their buying power by improving their credit score. I think this is something that relates nationally to as well as to San Diego. But Raf, here in San Diego, do you see any differences between the San Diego market and what's happening nationally that you haven't mentioned?
Yeah, well, the San Diego market is always elevated. It's always high. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I've been here for a while. And that's one thing that's going to happen when you're in San Diego or when you're in Southern California. The Black Belt Mortgage Pro, just to touch on that real fast, I'm a martial artist. And so I'm a third-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. Well, one of my students recently, they were looking here in San Diego, and they just were priced out of the market here in San Diego. So as a result, they ended up leaving and have to move down to Marietta, which is north of here. One of my great students too, by the way. I missed a guy. He's excellent in jiu-jitsu, but that's the kind of market that San Diego, that's what it'll do to you, right? So you can be approved for a great amount, say, I think 800,000, right? But it's so competitive, right? And the prices, which will normally get you walking through the door anywhere else, some of the prices here in San Diego, you can't, go into a condo. And so unfortunately, he and his wife and newborn daughter had to move to Marietta, and I miss him. So if you see this show, Robbie, I miss you. I can't wait to see you back down here, brother. I miss you a lot. So that's San Diego for you.
Yep. That's awesome. I actually have some martial arts experience. I did jiu-jitsu for a little while. Sounds like a lot of your skills that you have as a black belt in jiu-jitsu apply directly to the mortgage industry as well.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, it takes the discipline. You have to have that discipline, and that's what I bring to every loan that I'm able to help someone secure. The investors, I stay on it. I pay attention to detail, the same way I do in the martial arts, and that's why I'm the black belt mortgage pro. I have to have an answer. We have to figure this out. We have to get it done.
Absolutely. So, give me a little bit of an explanation. What is a fix and flip, and how does it work?
Okay, so a fix and flip. So a fix and flip is basically an investment strategy, right? So I call it the 1, 2, 3 of the fix and flip. So an investor, you're looking to buy a property, preferably lower than market value. You're looking to renovate that property, right? And then that's where the flip part comes in. Then you have to sell that property. So that's what a fix and flip is. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to buy it, renovate it, and then sell it. And then hopefully you could sell it in a timely manner, because there are things that go into play when you're doing a fix and flip that you have to take into consideration. So I know I'm saying that really, really quick and making it seem super, super easy, but there are steps and levels to it. You have to locate the property, find it, make sure after you purchase that property that you're going to have room to renovate it, right? And make sure you sell it in a timely manner so that you're not holding on to it, so that you don't incur more costs. So that you can actually sell that property. So go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like seasoned investors are following a formula.
Yeah. So here's the beauty of fix and flip, right? So you can be seasoned. So when you're a seasoned investor on the fix and flip, we call them professional flippers. So a professional flipper is going to have some things dialed down. They're going to have their matrix. They're going to have their profit margins. They're going to already have their construction guys. They're going to have everything lined up. Like I remember when I first got into this business, I met one of the investors who really, really helped me get my education up and start to learn, because there's different levels of investors that you have to deal with, and you have to know how to get them the money that they need. He explained it to me that, hey, man, we find this property, it's below value. I want to get in that property. I want to bring my construction crew in, and then I want to run through it like termites. That's what he used. Those are his words. I want to run through it like termite, get it put back together so I can get it on the market, so I don't have to hold it, so I don't have to pay more interest. Okay, that's how the fix and flip works when you're a professional fix and flipper. But let's just say you're John down the street, and you're looking to, instead of having your money just sit in the bank, you want to put it into real estate so that you can actually start to grow it. Fix and flip is a good place to start, right? Because you have these matrices that you can meet. So first you find the property, preferably in a good neighborhood where you can see, go through that neighborhood. Let's just say this property looks out of place, or maybe it's down, or you have a real estate agent that you reach out to and say, hey, listen, I noticed this property is undervalued. What's going on with it, right? So from a national standpoint, whatever's wrong with that property, when it's below the market value, you go in, you fix it, you take care of it. To come here locally with me here in San Diego, most of the investors here, we're looking for cosmetic fixes, right? No one here in San Diego, because of the price of the market, wants to have to deal with a cracked slab or something broken or something heavy rehab, because it can eat into your profits fairly quickly. And then with the cost of materials and different things like that, which is the second part of the fix and flip, that's the renovation phase. You have to make sure that it makes sense. You have to have good people with you. Here locally, they look for a property because to be in this market, because it's a high level market, everything has to be up to par, right? So if you go into a property and you notice that the cabinets are not right, well, you can start putting those as line items. You fix the cabinets, you get new flooring, you paint the walls. These are all value adds, which falls into cosmetic here in San Diego. And then you could put the property, once you get all that done, you could put the property back on the market and sell it for more than what you bought it for. And then you're looking for a target number, which is it's called the after repair value, right? So as long as your ARV is high, so just throw some numbers off my head, I don't have my calculator with me. So let's just say you bought the property for $400,000, right? You put $50,000 into the property, right? Then you got to add in your holding costs and different things like that. Well, you want that ARV for whatever you put in there. You want to be able to, when you sell it, let's just say I sold it for $550,000. That's going to give me $80,000 margin right there. So if I were to do the math on that, and don't quote me on this, guys, if I say it wrong. So if I divided 80,000 by 400, say 400,000, 470,000, that'll be about a 17% return, which is good, which is not bad at all. Okay. So, did that make sense? I'm sorry. I hate to pull the numbers up. I don't have it in front of me.
And you actually answered my next question, which is how to analyze what a good deal is. If I was coming in as a first-time investor, I'm keenly aware that I don't know what I don't know. And that's why I need to talk to somebody like you to teach me what to look for, how to analyze this good, what is a good deal, what's not a good deal. Yeah, I know you touched on a lot of points right there. Is there anything else that you want to add about, how to identify what a good deal looks like?
Okay. Yeah. So what the good deal is going to look like, how to analyze it. A lot of the pros, they use something called the 70% rule, right? The 70% rule is basically 70%, your total all-in cash, the loan amount and everything should be about 70% of what that after repair value is, right? So again, I apologize. I don't have my calculator in front of me. I'm getting older. My numbers might be a little off. So let's just say it's going to be, the after repair value would be 900,000, right? Actually, I don't want to mess the numbers up too bad. In short, the total loan amount should be about 70% of what you're going to sell it for at the end. And then if you subtract the rehab costs when you're doing everything total, that'll give you your maximum buying price to make sure that you stay inside of your parameters on the return. Now, we talked earlier that San Diego is a little different animal, right? So nationwide, usually on fix and flips, they were down a little bit this year. The average return across the country was about 25%, which is a little bit down, right? Which kind of ties back into the article because everything was down. California itself, they saw a return of around about 18%, which is still really good. San Diego on the fix and flip, most of the professional fix and flippers here, throughout, I want to say 2025, they got about 19%. And what's unique about that is because of the value of the properties here in San Diego, it doesn't take a whole lot to get there because we're dealing with much higher numbers, right? So a fix and flip here, you can go in and pick up a property that's worth 700,000 and do a fix and flip on it, and then have that margin there. And as long as you're inside of it, you're perfectly fine and everything is okay, and you're going to get a good return, right? Sometimes they're going to be high, sometimes they're going to be low.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know a big issue for a lot of people don't have cash to just come in and do cash purchases. People are going to need to finance this deal. Can you give us some insight on how to finance it and how to exit the deal successfully?
Yeah, not a problem at all. So how to finance it is actually where I come in at. All the other stuff that I just said, I picked it up over the years from working with a lot of investors. So first things first, when you come in, if you were to come to see me, right, the first thing I'm going to do is find out if you actually have experience, if you had any experience at all, right? If you're a rookie, if this is your first time deal, have you ever did a fix and flip? Because there are a lot of new people coming into the fix and flip space because they understand that, investments can actually bring you wealth. And that's what everyone's into these days, trying to grow generational wealth. I get it. So you come to me. If you have zero experience, it's kind of tough, right? You will fall into a category which we will call a rookie, right? So with that, you may have to put down 25%. It just depends because each deal is unique, right? Depending on where it's at and where that ARV is going to be, you may have to put down 30%, right? Now, on the other side of that, some of these professional flippers, when they come in, I can look at their track record because that's what's going to tell whether or not you're a rookie or if you have a track record. If you have a track record, let's just say you did 3 fix and flips over the last 3 years. Well, now you're going to get the best rates that we can offer based on your experience and your credit, right? Which now I know if their credit is not hitting right, I'm going to say, hey, man, go call my buddy Mike Officer. He can hook you up and get that credit up so you can get some better deals. And so once you have the experience, you're looking at about 85% of the purchase price. And then on most fix and flip loans, right, what we do is offer 100% of the rehab. So that way you can get in based on your line items and your budget. We'll fund that, 100% of that. And you'll put your down payment, your 15%, which is what we call skin in the game, which I can break down on another show. You have to have your skin in the game. And then, we'll lend you 85% of that purchase price, no matter what that purchase price is. So if that's $1 million, 600,000, 700,000, right? So that's the goal. And then you have a timeline, right? And then when you go through that timeline, you fix it. And this is what sometimes people get in trouble in San Diego if their numbers are off. You can't afford to have that property just sitting on the market, right? You want to flip it, right? You want it to sell as fast as possible so that you don't start to incur more holding costs than you anticipated, right? So if you wrote everything up and your strategy is to have this property gone in 4 months, but you end up holding it for 6 months, now you have 2 more months of interest only payments, which I don't think I mentioned, but usually in investment loans, it's interest only. 12 months, interest only. Your exit strategy is sell it in 4 months, 6 months, or every now and then someone will want to turn it into a long time rental, like an investment, especially with the, Airbnbs are hot. Those are short-term rentals. They may put some renters inside of the property and hold it, in which time after a fix and flip loan, that's what we'll do a show on later. We'll go off into something called a DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan, where if you have the property rented out, that helps you to qualify. So have some experience. If you don't have experience, you could always partner up with someone who has experience, right? And in your case, sometimes you could partner up with someone who may not have the credit, but they have some other experience, but maybe they had a bad run one year. Well, you guys can partner up and do a deal together, right? And that's where you will come in. So let's just say, because the market has changed a lot, lately. When I first got in this business, we used to do sub 600 deals all the time. What do I mean by that? Their credit scores would be 580, sometimes 575. I've done a fix and flip deal before at 550 because the deal made sense. But those are days of the past. That's back when we used to use the term hard money, which is why I used to call myself the hard money black belt. Because, man, if you had a 550 or whatever, we finna make this thing work. We finna make it do what it do, right? Like Ray Charles, we finna make it do what it do, baby. So now we don't have that luxury. And so when I run into people like that, I send them to people like yourself who can help them take care of it, right? So that's something you could do for some of these investors, correct?
Absolutely. We work with a lot of people who are trying to accomplish financial goals. They're trying to grow financially, build wealth, everywhere from purchasing a home all the way down to just getting better interest rates on auto loans. But when it comes to people who want to invest, who want to get into the real estate industry, I think a really important first step is realizing that you can fix and repair your credit relatively quickly. It's not something that you have to wait years and years to fall off naturally. So there is a combination. A lot of good people have had bad things happen to them. Maybe they lost a job or had medical issues a couple of years ago. We can clean that stuff up and we can clean your credit profile and then build and restructure your credit profile so that it aligns with what a lender wants to approve so that you can enter the real estate market. You can start investing in real estate. So that's number one. Number two is to team up with experienced professionals who can guide you along the way, who can help you avoid pitfalls and basically show you the ropes and show you how to get it done properly. So starting with credit repair and credit optimization so that you can get approved and get approved at the best rates, and then teaming up with Rafael so that he can get you access into this market and to teach you what you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where it's at. And then one other thing that I'll say for anyone that's watching this, excuse me or forgive me if I was rambling a little bit. Sometimes I do that because there's so much going on in my head, but I could take one little piece of a fix and flip and I could talk about it for 1 hour, right? It doesn't have to be that complicated. The thing about it is just get started. Reach out to me, find out, talk to someone, partner up with someone. If there's a deal on the table, you should never, ever leave it on the table. There's always, always, always a way to get deals done and to get deals funded, right? Even when you have to get partners and different things like that, don't leave them on the table. And as Mike just mentioned, hey, there's ways we can get that credit straight. We can get it up, and then that'll just increase your purchasing power. So don't leave anything on the table, anything on the table. Okay.
Absolutely. And to support that, have a plan. Talk to Rafael. establish a plan, know what your bullet points and your boxes that need to be checked, and start moving towards those goals so that you do it the right way. And then when you arrive and you get those things done, you arrive at the point where you're ready to go, and you can take advantage of that deal, not leave it on the table.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna look over here. We had a few questions. Oh, there's one on the screen there. What is the minimum credit score you need to qualify for a fix and flip loan? I would say in the safe arena, in today's market, the higher the better. So I would go at 660. So if you have a 660, we can get going, right? If you have higher than that, by all means, the only thing it's going to do is just give you a better leverage, better interest rate. And if you have the experience, it's going to mean that you have to have less skin in the game when you're getting started, right? So a rule of thumb is if I have a 660, I'm good to go. Can there be exceptions? Yes, there can. Yes, they can. There can be exceptions every now and then when something makes sense and is really good. There can be exceptions to the rule, right? But starting point, remember, 660. You can't go wrong with a 660.
Yep. And where I come into this is helping people to understand why their score is below 660 and what are the areas that we need to improve. Sometimes that could be negative or derogatory accounts from the past. It also might be the debt that you're carrying on high interest credit cards. It also might be a need to build additional positive credit history. So this is how we focus, is a comprehensive approach to credit, helping people understand that there are multiple ways to build your score over 660. It's not just one thing. It's not just deleting negatives. It's building your entire credit profile.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I got another question here. How many clients are coming to you as real estate investors who are trying to qualify for fix and flip loans? I've run into so many potential clients who are rookie and experienced investors with credit issues. I do have several clients who are investors or interested in getting into investing. I've had seasoned investors come to me that had some weird collections pop up on their credit report, some accounts from years ago, literally old utility bills from a house they rented with a roommate, and the roommate didn't pay, but their name was on the account. And now years later, we've got this collection popping up. Had a investor that owns several properties that had a utility company put a collection on his credit report for $15 because they never sent the invoice. Like he was frustrated because like, I set everything up on auto pay, everything is taken care of, and this one company never sent me an invoice, never sent me anything, and now I've got this collection. So we run into this stuff all the time, and it is very, very possible to get that type of thing removed from an investor's credit report. A lot of people who want to get into investing are running into the challenge that their credit does not allow them, they can't leverage their personal credit in order to get that initial investment. And this is something we absolutely can clean up and help them build a credit profile that does get them approved for these loans.
All right. Yeah. Well, credit mistakes. Oh, so with me, sometimes I see where they're over leveraged in terms from a lending standpoint. Like if you're over leveraged with your credit, I can consider that sometime to be a mistake, right? Because they may not realize it, like transferring debt and doing different things like that. It doesn't always offset right away, right? Because if you transfer this entire card, this is what I've seen personally, to this card, now that card is maxed out, it doesn't have the immediate effect that you think it's going to have, right? It shows that you're way over leveraged over here. So sometimes I think they forget that when they're getting ready to gear up and make stuff happen, they want to, okay, you know what? I'm going to transfer everything over here so I can get these credit cards down to zero and stuff like that. And it hits them. They don't realize that it takes time for that to balance out.
Absolutely. And I see the same thing on my side. Your credit profile and your credit score is essentially a pie chart of different variables. And yes, while transferring a balance to a 0% APR card is a good financial move over the long run to save you money on interest, it is not going to help your credit score. It's not going to help your DTI. In fact, you're going to see a temporary drop in your credit score because you're opening a new account. When you
Yes.
open a new account, part of your score is your average account age. So every new account opening drops your average account age, and it's going to have a temporary dip to your score. You're also going to get a hard inquiry for opening that account, which is going to be another little temporary drop to your score. So these are things that I see commonly, people that want to get approved for a real estate loan, and then they go out a month before and buy a car. This is a really bad move, right? We don't want new account opening. We don't want extra debt showing on under your name, because that affects your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. So yes, there are ways that you can get creative to transfer debt out of your personal name, especially if you own a business, if you have a corporate entity like an LLC. So there's a strategic way that you can do this. So again, consult with professionals first, develop a plan, look at the items that are holding you back. Is it a DTI issue? Do you need to pay down your credit cards? Can you transfer debt out of your personal name, like refinance a car under your business? These are all ways that you can strategize fixing DTI issues, improving your credit score. And maybe we need credit repair to delete some old collections or delete some old late payments and things like that. There's going to be a multifaceted plan that we touch on all the different ways to improve your credit. So, but I think going back to Ralph's point, don't open new accounts, don't buy a car unless you absolutely have to, and talk to a professional so you know what are these pitfalls to avoid.
Great advice, brother. Great advice.
All right. So it's been a pleasure, Raf, having you on the show today. I know personally, I've learned a lot about fix and flips, and especially to know that there is a formula. There's a way to analyze the deal, to know that you have a good deal and know how you're going to make a profit of it and avoid, the potential problems that are going to cause you to lose money.
Absolutely. 70% rule.
Yep. 70% rule. That's right. I'll remember that. And we also know that if you are struggling with credit to get approved for the loan, if you're trying to get over that 660 mark, or maybe you're even over 660, but you're trying to increase your buying power and get approved at better interest rates, is a comprehensive approach to improving credit, both from credit repair, removing negatives, and optimizing your credit profile. And again, coming back to the most important part, get with Rafael. Establish a plan, find out what you need to work on to get yourself to that point, and a trusted team can get you there.
Excellent. Thank you.
So thanks again for being on the show. Have a great day, guys.
All right, take care.